Every single day, you make a choice. Discipline or regret. Comfort or growth. Ease or greatness. The truth is, you're either building yourself or you're breaking yourself. There is no middle ground. This audiobook isn't here to motivate you. It's here to confront you. Because if you don't master your habits will master you. By the time this ends, you'll understand one truth that separates the weak from the unstoppable. You either choose pain now, or you live with regret forever. Comfort is killing you. Not quickly, quietly. It's the soft pillow that steals your purpose. It's the warm bed that robs your discipline. It's the voice that whispers, "You deserve a break," when you haven't earned one yet. You have a choice. Every single day, you choose between comfort and growth. And here's the truth. Those two things will never coexist. Comfort is the enemy. It disguises itself as peace, but it's really paralysis. It convinces you that you're safe, but it's suffocating your potential. It tells you that rest is reward when it's actually decay. You were not built for easy. You were built for evolution. And evolution demands friction. When you choose comfort, you reject growth. When you chase ease, you choose weakness. And every time you surrender to what feels good, you bury what could have been great. That's the key. What could have been. Every comfort seeker ends up haunted by that phrase. Because comfort doesn't hurt now. It hurts later. Regret is the delayed pain of comfort. Think about it. The person who skips the workout feels fine today, but exhausted with themselves tomorrow. The person who avoids the hard conversation feels peaceful tonight, but resentful for years. Comfort feels good now and costs everything later. Discomfort feels hard now and gives everything later. That's the trade. That's the truth. That's the choice. You have a choice. You can take the pain of discipline today or the pain of regret tomorrow. There is no third option. So ask yourself, where in your life have you become too comfortable? Where have you stopped challenging yourself because things feel good enough? Good enough is the language of average. Good enough is the beginning of decline. You think you're resting. You're not. You're rusting. You're softening. You're surrendering your edge one easy decision at a time. Every day you stay in your comfort zone, your ambition gets weaker. Your standards drop lower. And soon, the person you were meant to be becomes a stranger. Discipline begins where comfort ends. That's the line that separates winners from watchers. That's the difference between potential and performance. You have to train yourself to crave the difficult, to lean into the resistance, to replace easy with earned. It's not about comfort. It's about commitment. It's not about feeling ready. It's about showing up. It's not about waiting for motivation. It's about building momentum through movement. Comfort says, wait until it feels right. Discipline says, do it anyway. Every champion you admire, every athlete, leader, or creator learned to live beyond comfort. They rewired their mind to find satisfaction in effort, not ease. They learned that growth doesn't come from pleasure, it comes from pressure. Think about a seed. It only grows when it's buried, pressed down, and broken open. That's you. Growth requires breaking. Discipline requires discomfort. Progress requires pain. Pain isn't punishment. It's the process. It's how you transform. It's how you earn strength. You don't rise in comfort. You rise through challenge. Comfort makes you fragile. Discomfort makes you formidable. That's the shift. That's the mental rewiring you need. You can't build resilience in a safe zone. You can't build confidence without confrontation. You can't build greatness without grit. So stop making comfort your goal. Make growth your goal. Make difficulty your discipline. Make pain your proof. The gym isn't about muscles. It's about mindset. The early morning isn't about the clock. It's about control. The hard conversation isn't about words. It's about courage. Everything that grows you will challenge you, and everything that comforts you will weaken you. That's the law of life. The moment something feels too easy, it's no longer serving you. The moment you stop feeling resistance, you've stopped growing. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. If it doesn't demand more, it delivers less. If it's comfortable, it's costing you. You have to be willing to get uncomfortable every day. That's the only way to build the discipline that lasts. So how do you start? You start by doing the opposite of what your emotions tell you. Your emotions want ease. Your mission demands effort. When your mind says skip it, you do it. When your body says rest, you rise. When your excuses get louder, your actions get stronger. That's how discipline is built. Not in a moment, in repetition. Every rep against comfort builds your character. Every rep against ease builds your edge. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being persistent. It's about showing up on the days when you don't want to, because those days are where your identity is forged. Comfort tells you to avoid failure. Discipline tells you to face it and learn from it. Comfort wants you to stay safe. Discipline wants you to get stronger. Comfort asks, why try? Discipline answers, because I must. And that's the difference. One voice keeps you small. The other voice builds you tall. One voice gives you relief. The other voice gives you results. You have a choice every single day. Discipline or regret. Growth or comfort. Ease or excellence. And here's what you'll realize. The disciplined life is not harder, it's lighter. Because the weight of discipline is nothing compared to the burden of regret. Regret crushes you. Discipline frees you. Discipline doesn't drain your energy, it directs it. Discipline doesn't limit you, it liberates you. When you choose discipline, you gain momentum. When you choose comfort, you lose control. And eventually, that comfort becomes your cage. A silent prison built one easy choice at a time. Break out. Break free. Start today. Do one thing that makes you uncomfortable, and do it again tomorrow. Because every act of discomfort builds the muscle of discipline. That's how warriors are built. That's how leaders rise. That's how you change your life one uncomfortable decision at a time. You don't need their permission. You don't need the perfect plan. You don't need to wait for the right time. You just need to choose now. Because comfort is the enemy. And every second you waste in it, you lose a piece of who you could be. So remember, it's not about comfort. It's about discipline. It's not about ease. It's about effort. It's not about waiting. It's about working. You've learned the truth about comfort. Now it's time to build the structure that turns effort into freedom. You've faced the enemy. Now let's create the foundation for victory.
Freedom. Everyone wants it. Few earn it. You say you want freedom,
but your actions chase comfort. You say you want peace, but your habits create chaos. You say you want control, but you surrender it every time you choose what feels good over what's right. Here's the truth. Discipline is not the enemy of freedom. Discipline is freedom. You have a choice. You can live like everyone else, chasing temporary pleasure, running from responsibility, drowning in distraction. Or you can live like the few, structured, focused, relentless, free. That's the paradox. Structure gives you control. Control gives you peace. And peace, real peace, is freedom. Most people think discipline traps you. They're wrong. It's chaos that traps you. It's impulse that traps you. It's inconsistency that chains you to mediocrity. You're not stuck because life is unfair. You're stuck because you refuse to build a system. That's the key. Freedom comes from order, not from options. Look at the world's most disciplined people. Soldiers, athletes, creators, entrepreneurs. They live by rules. They live by routines. They live by code. And because of that code, they are unstoppable. They don't waste time deciding. They execute. That's what discipline does. It removes decision fatigue. When your system is solid, your willpower is preserved. You no longer wake up wondering, what should I do today? You already know. You just do it. You don't need motivation when you have a mission. You don't need inspiration when you have instruction. You don't need permission when you have purpose. Discipline simplifies your life. It eliminates noise. It focuses your energy. Most people live reactive lives, responding, adjusting, apologizing, restarting. Disciplined people live proactive lives, planning, executing, advancing, growing. That's the difference. You think freedom means doing whatever you want. It doesn't. That's indulgence. That's chaos disguised as choice. Freedom is doing what must be done, consistently, without needing to be told. When you master yourself, you no longer need to be managed. That's true freedom. It's not about control from others. It's about control from within. It's not about being told what to do. It's about knowing what must be done. That's the difference between the average and the elite. Look at a soldier. He wakes before sunrise. He follows a schedule. He trains his mind and body in total alignment. Does he look trapped? No. He looks sharp, focused, free. Free from confusion. Free from excuses. Free from weakness. Look at an athlete. Her day is ruled by repetition. Sleep, train, recover, repeat. People say, "You have no life." She smiles because that is her life. A life with purpose, a life with structure. That's real freedom, the freedom to perform at your highest potential. Now look at the undisciplined. They wake up late, they chase distractions, they make excuses. They call that freedom, but it's slavery. Slavery to laziness, emotion, and impulse. Freedom without structure is self-destruction. Discipline without purpose is burnout. You need both, discipline with direction. That's how you move forward. That's how you take back control. You want peace? Then build order. You want control? Then build consistency. You want freedom? Then build discipline. Because discipline is not punishment, it's preparation for power. That's the phrase you need to burn into your brain. Say it again. Discipline is not punishment, it's preparation for power. Every time you practice discipline, you are sharpening your mind. You are hardening your resolve. You are preparing yourself for the opportunities others can't handle. When everyone else is distracted, you'll be ready. When everyone else is exhausted, you'll still have energy. When everyone else breaks, you'll stay calm because your structure holds you steady. That's the gift of discipline. It builds stability in the storm. Freedom is not about avoiding the storm. It's about standing firm inside it, and only discipline gives you that power. Here's what discipline gives you. Freedom of time, because you control your schedule. Freedom of mind, because you stop second-guessing yourself. Freedom of emotion, because you stop being a slave to impulse. When you're disciplined, your mind becomes clear. You start trusting yourself again. You stop seeking validation. You stop chasing permission. You stop waiting for the right moment. You realize there is no perfect moment. There is only execution. You don't need their permission. You need your decision. That's the mindset shift. That's the moment your life starts to change. You stop wishing for freedom and you start earning it. Every routine, every system, every boundary you build is a brick in the wall of freedom. You want to know why you feel anxious, lost, unfulfilled? Because you have no structure. Your life has no rhythm. Your actions have no pattern. Without structure, chaos wins. Without order, potential dies. Discipline creates order. Order creates clarity. Clarity creates confidence. Confidence creates freedom. That's the formula. That's the truth. That's the path. So stop running from routine. Stop rebelling against responsibility. Stop believing the lie that freedom means no rules. Freedom means self-rule. Freedom means structure with purpose. Build systems that serve your mission. Create schedules that protect your priorities. Make rituals that strengthen your focus. Wake up early. Plan your day. Guard your hours. Honor your word. Because when you control your time, you control your life. When you control your actions, you control your destiny. That's the essence of freedom. That's the reward of discipline. You have a choice. Live like everyone else, enslaved by impulse and chaos. Or live like the few, governed by principle and peace. The ones who look the most restricted often live the most liberated. Because they've mastered themselves. Because they've earned freedom through discipline. Freedom is not found in doing less. It's found in doing what matters, every single day. Freedom is not the absence of rules. It's the presence of standards. Set your standards, raise them higher, protect them fiercely. That's how you separate yourself. That's how you move from ordinary to exceptional. That's how you live with peace, purpose, and power. So stop calling discipline a burden. Start seeing it as your greatest advantage. Because one day you'll realize the structure you resisted was the structure that saved you. That's the paradox. That's the truth. That's the freedom you've been chasing all along. Remember this line. Discipline is not punishment, it's preparation for power. Repeat it until it becomes your code. Because the moment you live by that code, you'll feel it. Peace, power, control, freedom. You've built the structure. You've built the system. Now it's time to conquer the next enemy. You've learned that discipline is freedom. Now it's time to master your mind.
Your mind is not your friend. Not when it comes to discipline. Not when it comes to greatness. Your mind is built for survival, not success. It's wired to protect you, not to push you. And that's why it will always, always look for the easy way out. You have a choice. You can listen to the voice of comfort, or you can obey the voice of commitment. That's the daily battle. That's the line that separates the weak from the disciplined. Here's the truth. Discipline begins when negotiation ends. Every time you argue with your mind, you lose momentum. Every time you debate with your emotions, you lose time. And every time you listen to the voice that says, later, you delay the life you were meant to live. Stop arguing. Start executing. That's the key. You already know what to do. You don't need another plan. You don't need another reminder. You don't need their permission. You just need to stop negotiating with your mind and start commanding it. Your mind is clever. It's not lazy. It's logical. It will whisper, "You deserve to rest." It will whisper, "You can do it tomorrow." It will whisper, "You've done enough." But that whisper is the sound of weakness. That whisper is the voice that ruins potential. The moment you start negotiating with that voice, you've already lost the battle, because your mind is undefeated when you play its game. Think about it. The alarm clock rings. You say, "Just 5 more minutes." The gym bag waits. You say, "I'll start tomorrow." The work is due. You say, "I'm not in the right mood." That's negotiation. That's self-sabotage disguised as self-care. You have to stop arguing with your limitations. Stop defending your excuses. Stop protecting your comfort. Discipline means command. It means you give the order and you obey it. You don't discuss it, you don't delay it, you don't debate it. That's how the elite live. That's how the unstoppable move. That's how progress is made. They don't wait for the mind to agree. They act first, feelings later. The truth is, your feelings are unreliable. They'll betray you. They'll talk you out of everything you said you wanted. Your emotions don't care about your goals. They care about your comfort. But you're not here for comfort. You're here for growth. You're here for strength. You're here to become unshakable. That's why you must stop negotiating. You say you want to wake up early, so when the alarm rings, you get up. No thought, no hesitation, no deal-making. You say you want to get fit, so when it's time to train, you move. No excuses, no bargaining, no distractions. You say you want to change your life, then stop arguing with the actions that will make it happen. Your mind will say, "I'm tired." You say, "Do it anyway." Your mind will say, "It's not perfect." You say, "Start anyway." Your mind will say, "I don't feel like it." You say, "I don't need to feel like it." That's power. That's discipline. That's freedom. You have to train your mind to obey your mission, not your mood. Because when your mood controls you, you'll never achieve consistency. And without consistency, you'll never achieve mastery. Discipline isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about doing the work whether you feel like it or not. Because that's how the strong are built. Stop waiting to want to. You won't. Stop waiting to feel ready. You never will. Stop waiting for motivation. It's unreliable. You don't need motivation. You need movement. You don't need inspiration. You need instruction. Stop arguing. Start executing. Say it again. Stop arguing. Start executing. Because the more you argue, the weaker you become. And the more you act, the stronger you grow. Your mind loves comfort because comfort feels safe. But you're not in danger. You're just uncomfortable. There's a difference. You're not dying. You're developing. That's the key. The voice in your head is trying to keep you alive, not make you powerful. But you didn't come here to survive. You came here to dominate. So you must override your mind. You must out-discipline your emotions. You must outwork your resistance. You do that by building commands, not choices. Wake up at 5 a.m.? Command. Go to the gym? Command. Write the plan? Command. Make the call? Command. Every time you obey your commands, you reinforce your identity as a disciplined person. Every time you disobey, you reinforce the identity of someone who negotiates with weakness. It's not about the action, it's about who you become through that action. Every time you choose discipline over debate, you strengthen your mind. You're teaching it who's in charge. You don't need to feel motivated to act. You act, and the feeling follows. You don't need to wait for clarity. You act, and clarity comes through movement. You don't need to negotiate with fear. You act, and fear loses its power. Discipline makes the mind your servant, not your master. That's the transformation. That's the shift that separates the achievers from the dreamers, because dreamers negotiate. Doers execute. Every morning, every task, every challenge, you'll hear that internal voice trying to talk you down. Ignore it. Move anyway. Act anyway. You'll never regret taking disciplined action, but you'll always regret the times you didn't. And the truth is, you already know this. You've already felt the difference. The day you listened to your excuses, you felt weak. The day you ignored them, you felt powerful. That's proof. That's evidence. That's who you are when you stop negotiating. So next time your mind starts the argument, end it. Don't participate. Don't reason. Don't justify. Just move. Just act. Just execute. That's how momentum is built. That's how mastery begins. You have a choice. You can be the person who listens to excuses or the one who silences them. You can live in hesitation or you can live in execution. You can keep negotiating with your weakness or you can start commanding your strength. It's not about feeling good. It's about doing good. It's not about emotion. It's about execution. It's not about perfection. It's about power through persistence. Discipline starts where your feelings end. It starts the moment you stop arguing and start acting. Stop negotiating with your mind. Start leading it. Start commanding it. Start training it to obey you, not betray you. Because when you command your mind, you command your life. That's when you finally gain control. That's when you earn freedom. That's when you become unstoppable. You've silenced the noise inside. Now it's time to master the repetition that builds real results. You've learned to stop negotiating. Now, let's talk about how repetition builds resilience.
Repetition. It's boring. It's tedious. It's unglamorous. And that's exactly why it works. Habits build character the same way repetition builds muscle, slowly, invisibly, then all at once. You have a choice. You can chase shortcuts, or you can embrace the grind. That's the key. The grind always wins. Small actions, repeated daily, compound into massive results. Miss one day, you're back in neutral. Do it consistently, you're unstoppable. It's not about flashy moves, it's about consistent movement. It's not about perfect execution, it's about persistent execution. It's not about speed, it's about progression. Tiny wins, massive returns. Repeat it again. Tiny wins, massive returns. Look around. The world rewards the patient, the consistent, the relentless.
The world punishes the impatient, the inconsistent, the distracted. You want results? Then honor the repetition. You want power? Then respect the process. You want freedom? Then embrace discipline every single day. Think about the athlete. They don't become elite overnight. They don't perform at their peak on day one. It's the repetition, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of reps that builds their body and their mind. The weightlifter lifts the same motion over and over. The runner logs miles every day. The writer types the same words every morning, regardless of mood. Every rep, every mile, every word compounds. Every small action is a vote for the person you want to become. Every repetition is a brick in the foundation of mastery. Discipline thrives in boredom. Consistency thrives in monotony. Progress thrives in the ordinary, repeated, extraordinary times. That's the secret most people ignore. It's not the big wins that matter. It's the daily reps, boring, repetitive, mundane, that build unstoppable power. You have a choice. You can chase excitement and hope for results, or you can embrace discipline and guarantee results. That's the key. Habits are formed not by intention, but by action. Doing one push-up today does nothing. Doing one push-up every day does everything. Reading one page today does nothing. Reading one page every day becomes thousands of pages in a year. It's the invisible work that creates visible success. Consistency beats talent when talent is inconsistent. Hard work compounds when repeated. Momentum builds when you refuse to stop. Tiny wins, massive returns. Remember it, repeat it, live it. The truth is, discipline is boring. But boring is beautiful when it builds results. The pain of repetition is temporary. The reward of mastery is permanent. You don't need motivation to repeat the reps. You don't need inspiration to do the work. You don't need permission to take action. You just need commitment. Commit to one small action every day. Commit to the process, not the outcome. Commit to discipline, not emotion. It's not about being extraordinary today. It's about being consistent today. It's not about impressing anyone. It's about improving yourself. That's the difference between the dreamers and the achievers. The dreamers wait for inspiration. The achievers build momentum. Every day you skip the reps, you weaken your future. Every day you repeat the reps, you strengthen your potential. Consistency compounds. Discipline compounds. Results compound. And here's the kicker. The progress is invisible at first. It's hidden. It's silent. You can't measure it in the moment. That's why most people quit. They quit before the compounding does its work. They quit because they don't see results immediately. They quit because comfort feels easier than repetition. You have a choice. You can quit with them, or you can push through the invisible stage. That's the key.
The real rewards come when you show up every day, even when it's boring, when no one is watching, when you're tired, when you're unmotivated. That's when character is forged. That's when resilience is built. That's when your life starts to change. Look at entrepreneurs. They write the same lines over and over. They make the same calls repeatedly. They fail, adjust, and repeat. That's how businesses grow. That's how influence grows. That's how mastery grows. Look at athletes. They repeat the same motion hundreds of times. They endure fatigue. They endure pain. They endure boredom. And eventually, their body and mind become unstoppable. Tiny wins, massive returns. It's not about perfection. It's about progression. It's not about the rep itself. It's about the person you become by doing it. Discipline is invisible until it's undeniable. You can't see the progress in a week, maybe not even a month, but a year of consistent action. That's transformation you can't ignore. That's why the mundane is sacred. That's why repetition is powerful. That's why the daily reps are your most valuable currency. You have a choice. You can chase shortcuts, or you can honor the process. You can seek instant gratification, or you can embrace delayed gratification. That's the key. The power is in consistency. The power is in discipline. The power is in showing up every single day. When you start repeating the reps, you start transforming. When you refuse to quit, you start dominating. When you embrace the grind, you start achieving. Every action compounds. Every repetition compounds. Every choice compounds. Tiny wins, massive returns. Repeat it until it becomes your mantra. Repeat it until it becomes your identity. Repeat it until it builds an unshakable foundation. You don't need permission to repeat. You don't need validation to continue. You just need discipline. You just need commitment. You just need to start. So take one action today. Repeat it tomorrow. Repeat it the next day. Keep repeating. Keep compounding. Keep building. Because the person you become through consistent repetition is unstoppable. The life you create through daily discipline is unbreakable. The power you gain through routine is undeniable. You have a choice. You can stay inconsistent and stay average, or you can repeat daily and become extraordinary. Tiny wins, massive returns. That's your formula. That's your advantage. That's your path. You've learned the power of daily reps. Now it's time to embrace the emotional control required to handle every challenge that comes with them.
Emotion is a liar. It whispers, stop, retreat, wait. It convinces you that hesitation is safety. It convinces you that delay is wisdom. It convinces you that fear is reason. You have a choice. You can listen to the lies, or you can act anyway. That's the key. Emotion tells you to stop. Discipline tells you to move. Emotion tells you to settle. Discipline tells you to advance. Emotion tells you to escape. Discipline tells you to endure. Feel it, but don't feed it. Repeat it again. Feel it, but don't feed it. Your emotions are not enemies. They're signals. Anger, fear, doubt, insecurity, they all appear for one reason: to test you, to see if you will let them control you, to see if you will surrender. And here's the truth: most people do. They let emotion dictate their actions. They let impulse write their story. They let mood govern their life. And the result? Chaos, frustration, regret. You have a choice. You can be like them, reactive, weak, emotional. Or you can be disciplined, calm, decisive, unshakable. That's the path of power. Think about the warrior. The soldier in battle doesn't panic. The athlete under pressure doesn't crumble. The entrepreneur facing failure doesn't quit. Why? Because they've trained their mind to obey discipline, not emotion. Feel it, but don't feed it. Feel fear, but do the work anyway. Feel doubt, but act anyway. Feel anger, but respond with clarity. That's control. That's resilience. That's the calm within chaos. Your emotions will try to trick you. They will tell you you can't. They will tell you it's too hard. They will tell you wait for tomorrow. You have a choice. You can obey them, or you can obey yourself. Discipline always wins when emotion is ignored. Discipline always wins when you take action despite fear. Discipline always wins when you move forward while others hesitate. Emotion is a trap, but the trap only works if you fall for it. The moment you act anyway, the trap disappears. The moment you embrace discipline over feeling, you gain power. Look at every successful person you admire. They didn't succeed because they never felt fear. They didn't succeed because they were never angry or anxious. They succeeded because they felt it, but didn't feed it. Feel it, but don't feed it. Let the fear exist. Let the doubt exist, but do not give them control over your actions. Your mind will try to justify inaction. It will rationalize excuses. It will pretend to be reasonable. Do not listen. Do not negotiate. Move. Execute. Repeat. That's the lesson. That's the discipline. Your emotions will spike under pressure. Your mind will scream during stress. Your heart will race when uncertainty appears. Feel it, but don't feed it. Use emotion as fuel, not a barrier. Turn anger into focus. Turn fear into preparation. Turn doubt into motivation. That's how resilience is built. That's how unshakable people are created. That's how the world's strongest perform while everyone else collapses. Emotion is temporary. Discipline is permanent. When fear tells you to quit, discipline tells you to continue. When frustration tells you to argue, discipline tells you to act. When sadness tells you to hide, discipline tells you to move forward. You have a choice. Yield to feeling and stagnate. Obey discipline and grow. It's not about being emotionless. It's about being in control. It's not about suppressing your feelings. It's about directing them. Feel it, but don't feed it. Repeat it until it's wired into your identity. Repeat it until it becomes automatic. Because life will always test you. Life will always throw challenges. Life will always provoke fear and doubt. The difference between failure and success is what you do in those moments. Do you obey the impulse to quit, or do you obey the discipline to persist? You don't need their permission to act. You don't need reassurance to move. You don't need comfort to continue. You need action. You need consistency. You need courage through discipline. Your emotions are powerful, but only if you control them. Otherwise, they control you. Feel it, but don't feed it. Let every spike of emotion be a test. Let every challenge be a proving ground in resilience. The person who yields to emotion is reactive. The person who masters emotion is proactive. The person who masters emotion is free. Free from panic. Free from regret. Free from indecision. Feel it, but don't feed it. Practice this daily. The next time anger rises, observe it, but continue. The next time fear appears, feel it, but act anyway. The next time doubt attacks, recognize it, but persist. That is how unshakable minds are built. That is how disciplined lives are created. That is how mastery is achieved. Every challenge, every trial, every moment of emotional turmoil is an opportunity to practice control, an opportunity to prove your discipline, an opportunity to grow stronger. You have a choice. You can obey your emotion and drift, or you can obey your discipline and dominate. That's the key. It's not about being fearless. It's about moving despite fear. It's not about being comfortable. It's about being consistent. It's not about feeling ready. It's about taking action. Feel it, but don't feed it. That phrase is your mantra. Repeat it in your mind. Write it down. Say it aloud. Let it guide every decision, every action, every day. Discipline is your weapon against emotion. Execution is your shield against doubt. Consistency is your armor against fear. The moment you embrace it, you become unstoppable. You've learned to face your emotions without surrendering to them. You've learned the secret of resilience. You've learned the calm within chaos. Now it's time to harness repetition to build unshakable skill.
Motivation is a liar. It appears. It disappears. It's unreliable. It's fleeting. You have a choice. You can rely on mood, or you can rely on structure. That's the key. Motivation fades, systems stay. Repeat it. Motivation fades, systems stay. The difference between average and elite isn't talent. It isn't luck. It's systems. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. Systems are permanent. Look at the world's most successful people. They don't wake up and wait to feel like working. They don't hope inspiration will strike. They follow routines, habits, and schedules that move them toward results every single day. Systems replace inspiration with action. They replace "I feel like it" with "I do it anyway." They replace chaos with control. You don't need permission to follow your system. You don't need validation to stick to your routine. You just need discipline. You just need commitment. It's not about motivation. It's about consistency. It's not about excitement. It's about execution. It's not about feeling ready. It's about taking action. Motivation will fail you when life gets hard. Systems will carry you when everything else falls apart. The elite don't wait to feel like training, studying, writing, or working. They act because their system demands it. They act because their routine has become habit. They act because their discipline is non-negotiable. That's how progress becomes unstoppable. That's how results compound. That's how mastery is achieved. Think about the entrepreneur. They don't wait for inspiration to launch a product. They don't wait for the perfect mood to make calls or write emails. They act because their system demands it. That's why they succeed while the unprepared dreamers falter. Think about the athlete. They don't wait to feel like training. They don't negotiate with the morning alarm. They follow the program. They trust the process. They repeat over and over until performance becomes automatic. Motivation fades, systems stay. Say it again. Motivation fades, systems stay. You have a choice. You can be reactive, waiting for inspiration, chasing feelings, and drifting, or you can be proactive, following your system, executing daily, and building unstoppable momentum. That's the key. Systems are built to protect you from yourself. Your mind will always look for excuses. Your emotions will always search for comfort. Your surroundings will always tempt you to delay. But when you have a system, you no longer negotiate with your weakness. You don't argue with your excuses. You don't wait for mood or approval. You act. Every day. No debate. No delay. No discussion. Discipline thrives on systems. Discipline is reinforced through routines. Discipline is activated by structure. You don't rely on feelings when systems guide you. You don't rely on luck when repetition drives you. You don't rely on motivation when action becomes automatic. That's power. That's control. That's freedom. The problem with most people is simple. They try to feel their way to success. They wait for inspiration. They wait for the right mood. They wait for clarity. And while they wait, opportunity passes. Momentum dies. Potential evaporates. You have a choice. You can wait, or you can act. You can drift, or you can dominate. That's the key. Systems are invisible forces that shape your results. They dictate your actions before your mind argues. They ensure that you execute even when motivation disappears. A system is a promise to yourself. A system is a commitment written into your daily schedule. A system is a ritual that removes doubt and hesitation. Motivation is fleeting. Discipline is enduring. Systems are permanent. You can design your day to follow a system. Wake up, execute the most important task, train, work, read, repeat. Over time, the compound effect is extraordinary. Small steps repeated daily become unstoppable force. Small wins aligned with systems create massive returns. Motivation will never replace this. Mood will never replace this. Desire will never replace this. It's not about being inspired. It's about being consistent. It's not about what you feel. It's about what you do. It's not about wanting to start. It's about refusing to stop. Motivation fades, systems stay. That phrase must become your mantra. It must echo in your mind every time you hesitate. It must remind you that feelings are unreliable, but action is undeniable. You don't need permission to follow your system. You don't need to feel like it. You don't need approval. You just need to act. You just need to repeat. You just need to trust the process. The moment you follow systems over motivation, you transform. The moment you execute structure over mood, you gain control. The moment you commit to routine over desire, you become unshakable. Discipline thrives when systems are enforced. Discipline is born when action replaces discussion. Discipline becomes identity when execution is non-negotiable. The world rewards consistency. The world rewards preparation. The world rewards those who show up every day, regardless of mood. That's why the elite succeed. That's why ordinary people fail. Because the elite rely on systems, the ordinary rely on feeling. You have a choice. You can wait for motivation and remain average. Or you can follow your system and become exceptional. That's the key. So create your system. Build your schedule. Set your rituals. Follow your rules. Execute daily. Repeat daily. Trust the system. Motivation fades, systems stay. Say it. Believe it. Live it. You've learned why systems outperform motivation. You've learned the power of structure. You've learned how discipline is reinforced when action is automatic. Now it's time to combine that structure with ruthless priority.
Later is a lie. Say it again. Later is a lie. Every delay steals your future. Every hesitation compounds regret. Every time you wait for the right moment, life moves on without you. You have a choice. You can act now, or you can waste your time. That's the key. Focus is ruthless. Focus is selective. Focus demands you cut distractions like a surgeon cuts tissue. Look at your life 5 years from now. 2 versions exist. One version acted. They prioritized. They executed. They said no to meaningless noise. They invested in what mattered. They built momentum. They became extraordinary. The other version waited. They postponed. They debated. They justified. They filled their hours with distractions. They drifted. They became average. Later is a lie. Your mind will always argue for delay. Your emotions will always rationalize comfort. Your surroundings will always encourage distraction. You have a choice. Obey the lie, or obey your discipline. Focus is not optional. Focus is survival in a world built to scatter your attention. The internet, notifications, social media, idle chatter, all of it conspires to steal your time and energy. You don't need permission to focus. You don't need inspiration to act. You just need discipline. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. It's not about being busy. It's about being productive. It's not about movement. It's about momentum toward your goals. Later is a lie. Repeat it. Later is a lie. Time will pass regardless of what you do. Effort compounds faster than regret if you start now. Delay compounds regret faster than effort. You have a choice. Act and build your future. Wait and let regret build. Imagine 5 years from now. The person who started today. They've built skill, resilience, and results. The person who waited. They're still dreaming. They're still planning. They're still hoping for permission that never comes. Later is a lie. You cannot negotiate with time. You cannot bargain with opportunity. You cannot reason with regret. Every second you waste on trivialities is a second stolen from your potential. Every hour you defer your priorities is an hour you will never recover. Discipline means saying no to everything that doesn't matter. Discipline means eliminating distractions before they eliminate you. Discipline means moving with urgency when others procrastinate. You have a choice. You can chase temporary pleasure and pay the price later, or you can chase meaningful action and secure your future. That's the key. Your attention is a weapon. Your focus is your power. Your discipline is your edge. Every task you undertake must pass the filter. Does this move me closer to my goal? If yes, execute immediately. If no, eliminate it ruthlessly. It's not about perfection. It's about progression. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing what counts. It's not about speed. It's about intentional, relentless action. Later is a lie. The world is built to scatter your mind. It will tempt you with irrelevant tasks, idle chatter, and meaningless distractions. It will convince you to defer your greatness until tomorrow. You have a choice. Obey the lie and drift through life, or obey discipline and build a future that's undeniable. Notice how regret compounds faster than effort. Miss one day of focus and the opportunity is lost. Miss 1 week
and momentum fades. Miss 1 year, and your goals may slip out of reach. But start now. Repeat daily. Act relentlessly, and the results compound faster than you imagined. Later is a lie. Look at history's greats. The inventors, the leaders, the elite performers, they didn't wait for motivation. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for comfort. They acted relentlessly, ruthlessly, immediately. You have the same choice today. Prioritize ruthlessly. Focus intensely. Act decisively. Discipline is built by action. Mastery is built by consistent focus. Success is built by starting when others hesitate. Every moment wasted on indecision is a brick in the wall of mediocrity. Every second spent acting with urgency is a step toward mastery. Later is a lie. You don't need permission to act. You don't need inspiration to start. You don't need certainty to move. You just need discipline. Focus on what matters. Ignore what doesn't. Act on what will build your future. Reject what will steal it. You have a choice. Obey distraction and remain average. Obey discipline and become extraordinary. Think in years, not days. Imagine the person you will be 5 years from now if you start today. Then imagine the person who waits. Later is a lie. The gap between those two people is action. The gap between regret and achievement is focus. The gap between ordinary and extraordinary is ruthless discipline. Repeat it daily. Repeat it in your mind. Repeat it in your actions. Later is a lie. Every time you hesitate, you reinforce the lie. Every time you act, you reinforce your discipline. Every time you prioritize ruthlessly, you create leverage over your future. Focus is your weapon. Discipline is your shield. Action is your armor. You have a choice. Use it wisely. Act now. Act decisively. Act ruthlessly. Later is
a lie. Now that you've learned to ruthlessly focus on what matters, it's time to learn how to harness the quiet power of self-restraint and invisible discipline.
Pain is not punishment. Say it again. Pain is not punishment. It's evidence. Evidence that you are moving. Evidence that you are growing. Evidence that you are leaving mediocrity behind. You have a choice. You can avoid pain and stay comfortable, or you can embrace it and become extraordinary. That's the key. The world tells you pain is bad. The world tells you struggle is failure. The world tells you to quit when it hurts. The truth? Pain is your proof. Pain is your signal that you are on the right path. Pain is the price of progress. If it hurts, it's working. Repeat it. If it hurts, it's working. Look at the athlete. The burn in their muscles isn't damage. It's growth. Every drop of sweat is a signal. Every rep that challenges them is a step toward mastery. Look at the writer. The mental block is not weakness. It's the stretching of your mind beyond its comfort. Every struggle to find words strengthens creativity and skill. Look at the student. The long hours of study are not punishment. They are preparation. Every challenge faced builds knowledge, resilience, and confidence. If it hurts, it's working. Pain is universal. Everyone experiences it. Everyone has to go through it. The difference between the average and the extraordinary is how they respond. Average people run from pain. They complain, they justify, they delay. Extraordinary people embrace it. They execute, they endure, they grow. You have a choice. Avoid pain and stay ordinary. Embrace pain and build something exceptional. That's the key. Pain tests you. It asks, how badly do you want it? It challenges you to push past your comfort. It forces your discipline to show up when your desire falters. It's not about being fearless. It's about moving forward despite fear. It's not about avoiding difficulty. It's about executing through difficulty. It's not about comfort. It's about discipline. If it hurts, it's working. Think about the grind, the early mornings, the long nights, the extra reps, the repetitive practice, the mental strain. Every ounce of effort that challenges you compounds into skill, strength, and resilience. Every moment that tests your limits builds your identity. Every day that stretches you expands your potential. Pain is the proof of growth. You don't need permission to endure it. You don't need validation to push through. You just need discipline. You just need persistence. You just need courage. Pain is temporary. Growth is permanent. Weakness fades when you embrace struggle. Strength emerges when you endure. If it hurts, it's working. Say it in your mind. Say it in your body. Say it aloud. Pain is not the enemy. Comfort is the enemy. Ease is the enemy. Avoiding discomfort is the enemy. You have a choice. Avoid the burn and stagnate. Embrace the burn and progress. Every athlete knows it. Every artist knows it. Every entrepreneur knows it. Pain precedes achievement. Struggle precedes mastery. Discomfort precedes excellence. If it hurts, it's working. The problem is most people quit too soon. They feel resistance and interpret it as failure. They feel discomfort and interpret it as a signal to stop. That's the trap. You have a choice. Quit with them and stay average. Push through and become unstoppable. That's the key. Pain is neutral. It's your interpretation that defines it. See it as punishment and it will defeat you. See it as proof and it will propel you. If it hurts, it's working. Repeat it again. If it hurts, it's working. Discipline transforms pain into power. Consistency transforms struggle into skill. Execution transforms challenge into victory. You don't control life's difficulties. You don't control the resistance you face. You do control your response. You do control your persistence. You do control your choice to act despite discomfort. That's why discipline matters. That's why repetition matters. That's why embracing pain is non-negotiable. Look at every success story. They all endured what others avoided. They all persisted when quitting was easy. They all embraced pain and grew stronger. You have a choice. Avoid the pain and remain stagnant. Face the pain and build a life few will achieve. If it hurts, it's working. Write it down. Say it every morning. Repeat it during every struggle. Pain is your ally. Pain is your teacher. Pain is your guide. The moment you stop fearing pain, you stop fearing life. The moment you embrace struggle, you gain power over comfort. The moment you persist despite difficulty, you become unshakable. You don't need permission to endure it. You don't need approval to persist. You don't need assurance to push forward. You just need to act. You just need to repeat. You just need discipline. If it hurts, it's working. Your growth lies on the other side of discomfort. Your results lie beyond resistance. Your success lies after endurance. Every challenge you face is a stepping stone. Every ounce of pain is proof of progress. Every act of discipline compounds into mastery. You have a choice. Embrace it or avoid it. That's the key. If it hurts, it's working. Repeat it. Believe it. Live it. Pain is evidence. Pain is growth. Pain is power. Now that you've learned to embrace the pain, it's time to combine that endurance with relentless action and immediate execution.
Focus is your most valuable asset. Say it again. Focus is your most valuable asset. Every distraction is a thief. Every notification, every idle conversation, every temptation disguised as entertainment. They steal your energy. They steal your time. They steal your results. You have a choice. You can surrender your attention and drift through life, or you can protect it and dominate. That's the key. Protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Repeat it. Protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Discipline requires isolation. Not everyone deserves access to your mind. Not everyone deserves your time. Not everyone deserves your energy. The world will constantly demand it. Social media, friends, family, colleagues. Each has a subtle pull on your attention. Each seeks to divert you from what matters. You have a choice. You can entertain it and remain average, or you can enforce boundaries and become exceptional. That's the key. Focus is a muscle. It grows when exercised. It atrophies when neglected. Every time you yield to distraction, your discipline weakens. Every time you surrender to entertainment, your momentum fades. Every time you let curiosity dictate your attention, you pay a price. Protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Look at the elite. They know that control over attention is control over results. They remove unnecessary noise.
They minimize interruptions. They isolate themselves when it matters most. Writers, entrepreneurs, athletes all create environments for execution. They build spaces free from distraction. They enforce rituals that prioritize action over amusement. They understand the cost of every diverted second. Every distraction is a thief dressed as entertainment. You have a choice. You can entertain the thief and lose hours, days, months of your life. Or you can shut the door, silence the noise, and focus relentlessly. That's the key. Discipline demands it. Focus requires it. Results depend on it. Your mind will resist. It will argue for comfort. It will rationalize scrolling, chatting, and procrastination. It will say, just a little won't hurt. Don't believe it. Every compromise is a setback. Every concession is a weakening of your will. Every broken boundary compounds regret. You have a choice. Surrender or protect. Protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Isolation isn't loneliness. It's control. It's clarity. It's purpose. Every interruption you allow is a fragment of wasted time. Every fragment compounds. Every wasted hour steals momentum from your goals. Discipline is built in these moments. Focus is strengthened when you say no to distraction. Power is claimed by those who guard their attention. It's not about arrogance. It's not about selfishness. It's about results. It's about creating your future with intention. It's about refusing to let the world dictate your priorities. You don't need permission to protect your focus. You don't need validation to enforce boundaries. You just need discipline. You just need awareness. You just need courage to isolate what matters from what doesn't. Protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Use tools, habits, and environments that defend your attention. Turn off notifications, block distractions, set dedicated time for deep work. Create rituals that cue your brain to execute, not drift. Every moment spent in focus multiplies your impact. Every hour protected compounds your results. Every day of discipline moves you closer to mastery. Distraction is an enemy dressed as comfort. Ease is an illusion. Procrastination is a trap. You have a choice. Fall into the trap and remain ordinary. Enforce your boundaries and become extraordinary. Protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Repeat it in your mind. Repeat it in your schedule. Repeat it in your actions. The world will tempt you. It will demand you. It will test your discipline at every turn. You have a choice. Yield and suffer mediocrity. Stand firm and build excellence. Focus is your weapon. Discipline is your shield. Execution is your armor. Every interruption avoided is a victory. Every second reclaimed is leverage. Every hour of uninterrupted work is compounding power. You have a choice. Obey distraction or obey discipline. That's the key. The path is clear. Identify what matters most.
Remove everything else. Enforce boundaries without negotiation. Guard your attention like a fortress. Protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. You've learned to embrace pain, act ruthlessly, and prioritize relentlessly. Now it's time to wield your focus as the ultimate tool of mastery. Your energy, your time, your attention, they are finite. Treat them like the treasures they are. Protect them with discipline. Protect them with intensity. Protect them with ruthless clarity. You have a choice. Ignore this wisdom and drift through life. Apply it and dominate your future. Protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Now that your attention is fortified, your next step is to stop arguing with yourself and start executing without negotiation.
Discipline is not something you do. Say it again. Discipline is not something you do. Discipline is who you become. Not a habit, not a routine, not a checklist, but the essence of your identity. You have a choice. You can be someone who waits for motivation, or you can be someone who is discipline. That's the key. I don't need motivation. I am discipline. Repeat it. I don't need motivation. I am discipline. Every lesson you've learned in this book converges here. Every chapter, every insight, every principle feeds into this truth. Pain is inevitable. You embrace it. Momentum is fragile. You act relentlessly. Motivation fades. You rely on systems. Distraction is constant. You protect your focus. Delay is a lie. You act immediately. All of it builds one thing: identity. Not temporary action, not sporadic effort. Identity, discipline. You have a choice. You can remain someone who reacts to life, or you can become someone who shapes life. That's the key. Discipline is not a task. Discipline is not a goal. Discipline is not a reward. Discipline is the lens through which you see the world. Discipline is the standard you hold yourself to. Discipline is the force that shapes every decision, every action, every moment. You don't need permission to be disciplined. You don't need someone to tell you to act. You don't need motivation. You are discipline. It's not about waiting for clarity. It's about moving through uncertainty. It's not about feeling ready. It's about acting anyway. It's not about what life hands you. It's about who you become in response. I don't need motivation. I am discipline. Look at the people you admire, the athletes who dominate, the entrepreneurs who build empires, the creators who leave legacies. They are not motivated every day. They are not inspired every morning. They are discipline every single day. It's their identity. It guides their choices. It governs their actions. It fuels their results. Discipline is internal. It does not fluctuate with circumstances. It does not bend to emotion. It does not negotiate with excuses. You have a choice. You can be reactive. You can be inconsistent. You can follow moods, feelings, and fleeting desire. Or you can be discipline.
always, every day, no compromise, no debate. That's the key. Discipline becomes identity when you stop asking for motivation, when you stop arguing with yourself, when you stop waiting for permission, when you stop delaying action. Every decision aligns with your standards. Every action reinforces your commitment. Every struggle becomes a testament to your character. Pain, you embrace it. Distraction, you eliminate it. Delay, you refuse it. Motivation, you don't need it. You are discipline. I don't need motivation. I am discipline. Discipline guides your routines. Discipline structures your systems. Discipline strengthens your focus. Discipline compounds your results. It's not about doing what's easy. It's about doing what's right. It's not about what you feel. It's about what you choose. It's not about fleeting desire. It's about unshakable principle. You have a choice. You can chase feelings. You can wait for energy. You can hope for clarity. Or you can be discipline. Every day, every moment, every choice. That's the key. Identity is more powerful than action. Habits fade. Motivation fades. Excitement fades. Identity endures. Discipline endures. Who you are becomes unstoppable. You don't become disciplined by doing something once. You don't become disciplined by reacting to inspiration. You become disciplined by showing up consistently, by acting deliberately, by choosing over and over to embody the standard you set for yourself. I don't need motivation. I am discipline. Say it until it resonates. Act until it becomes visible in your life. Every struggle, every challenge, every painful moment is an opportunity to prove it. Every distraction avoided is a testament to it. Every step taken despite resistance reinforces it. You have a choice. You can be ordinary. You can be inconsistent. You can wait for the world to approve your effort. Or you can be discipline. Always present, always executing, always building. That's the key. Discipline is the sum of every lesson you've learned. It's the embodiment of focus, action, and perseverance. It's the refusal to quit. It's the refusal to compromise. It's the refusal to settle for less than your potential. Your identity is now aligned with your actions. Your actions now reflect your standards. Your standards now define your life. You have a choice. You can drift. You can react. You can wait. Or you can be discipline. I don't need motivation. I am discipline. Repeat it until it shapes your mind. Act until it shapes your life. Live until it shapes your identity. Discipline is not temporary. Discipline is not conditional. Discipline is not external. Discipline is internal. Discipline is eternal. Discipline is unstoppable. You have a choice. Obey your feelings and drift. Obey your excuses and remain ordinary. Obey your identity and dominate. That's the key. From this moment forward, every action you take must answer the question, am I discipline? If yes, execute. If no, eliminate it. Every thought, every word, every action, every habit must reinforce who you are. Discipline is no longer something you do.
It's who you are. You have built it through pain. You have built it through focus. You have built it through action. You have built it through persistence. You have built it through identity. You don't need motivation. You don't need permission. You don't need certainty. You are discipline. And that is unstoppable.